Today we're making a lemon poppy seed loaf to rival that favorite Starbucks treat. Hi everyone, welcome to Black Cat Kitchen. I hope you're doing well. Today we're making one of my favorite Starbucks treats, a lemon poppy seed loaf. Mine has a beautiful glaze on top that gets crunchy and crusty, and then it's got a beautiful lemon syrup that you put on before that glaze, which really drives home that lemon flavor. Let's start by preheating our oven to 170 degrees centigrade or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Here are the ingredients you'll need for this recipe. Feel free to pause. I'll list the ingredients in the description below. We're going to start by preparing our loaf pan. So really butter the sides very well. Get it in every little crevice. We are going to line this with paper as well, but it's always a good idea, just in case, to make sure you get some butter in all of your little edges. Let's get our paper in. I just make sure it's pressed into the bottom and then pressed up the sides as even as possible. And then I just push the leftover paper down the sides. This makes it really easy afterwards to lift your loaf out of your tin. So we're going to pour our lemon juice over our poppy seeds. This is something that not everybody does with their lemon poppy seed loaf, but I find that it helps break down that outer layer of the poppy seeds and really gets that flavor across in your loaf. Into our mixer goes our butter, which is fairly soft, and our sugar. We're going to cream that together until it's nice and smooth, about 4 minutes. Scrape down the sides of the bowl every now and again just to make sure it all gets really incorporated. We'll give that another few minutes. Time to add our eggs. We're adding 3 eggs to this, and I'm using farm fresh eggs from my local farm shop. Now, I like to crack these in a separate bowl before adding them to my mixer one at a time, just to make sure that it's actually an egg in there, especially when they're farm fresh. Scrape down the sides before adding the next egg, just to make sure all of your butter is incorporated. To our flour, we're going to add the rest of our dry ingredients. Baking powder, baking soda, that's going to give it a really good rise with that lemon juice in there. It will react and really burst up in the oven, and some salt. Just mix that together until it's fully combined. To our wet ingredients, we're going to add a splash of vanilla, our lemon juice and our poppy seeds, and the zest of 2 lemons. To make sure we have a nice smooth batter, we're going to be adding our dry and our wet ingredients to our mix in intervals. So we'll start with our dry and then go to our wet, dry, wet, and always finish with dry. If you try and do it all in one go, it'll be a lumpy batter. You won't have everything fully incorporated, as you'll have lumps of flour throughout, which is not what anybody wants in a lemon poppy seed loaf. Typically with this recipe, I'd use buttermilk, but because that's hard to find in some countries, England being one of them, I'm using a mix of sour cream and regular milk. I'll put the ratios below in the description. Dry first, about 1/3 of it. Give that a little stir. And then about half of your buttermilk or sour cream mixture. Give the sides a scrape down and then add your next flour addition. It smells so lemony in here. The rest of your buttermilk or sour cream mixture, and finally your remaining flour mix. That already looks so special. You'll want to work quite quickly here because your baking soda is already reacting with that lemon juice and that buttermilk. Just give it one final scrape down and stir by hand, just making sure all of that flour has been incorporated. And then we'll get it in our tin and into the oven. Just make sure it's nice and flat all the way across, and that is ready for the oven. I find the baking time of quick loaves like this tend to be very personal to your oven, so keep an eye on it anywhere between 45 minutes and 1 hour and 15. When you stick a little toothpick in, you'll know it's done if it's clean at the end. it's baking, let's make the lemony syrup that we're going to drizzle all over the loaf when it comes out of the oven. We're going to sieve out our powdered sugar, get all those little lumps out. Just for the record, you should always sieve your powdered sugar. And to this, we're going to add lemon juice. You can see if we had added that lemon juice to the unsieved sugar, it would be quite lumpy right now, so we don't want that for our cake. And we'll just set this aside and wait till our loaf is done. I can't even tell you how good that smells. So we're going to insert a skewer or a toothpick just to check that it's not still wet in the middle. And you can tell there's no bits on it. It looks nice and dry, but not too dry. We're going to let this cool for about 10 minutes before we pour that syrup on top. Using a knife, I'm just going to make sure these ends are away from the tin, and they are very smooth because we buttered it really well. And we're just going to take our 2 little flaps from earlier, lift them up, and move it over to our cooling rack. I'm going to take that lemon syrup we made earlier, and while it's still warm, just brush it all over the top, and just keep brushing until you've used all of that syrup. I know it seems like a lot, but it really does add a beautiful lemony flavor to this. All right, Zelda. Yeah. You can see I've poured some into that section right there, and it's soaking it all up, so just keep going until it's all gone. We're going to let that cool completely, and then we're going to make a nice icing for the top using icing sugar, lemon juice, and a little bit of milk. So let's get our icing sugar sifted. Should have used a bigger bowl. Now you want this to be very lemony, but very thick. We've got lemon juice and we've got milk to go in this, and we're gonna start with the lemon juice and see what our consistency's like, and only add as much milk as we need. So in goes the lemon juice. You can feel it thickening up in the bottom there. And that looks like actually quite a good stiff thickness. So just get it all mixed together so you've got no lumps in there. And then we'll spread it on top of our loaf. It's okay to let a little bit drip down the sides. Just spread it with your spoon all the way across. This icing will set up a little bit, so give it about 20-30 minutes, and you'll notice it almost has a dull finish on the top when it's done and dried. Just before it does that, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of lemon zest just over the top to make it extra pretty. Wait any longer. Let's get in there. That syrup makes it so intense and lemony. You've got that nice mild poppy seed flavor, but that icing is absolutely incredible and a must-have. And by grating that lemon zest right on top, it's collected all of the little oil from it as well, so it's extra lemony in your face. Oh wow. This is a lemon lover's dream. It's like summertime just exploding in your mouth. Seeing as most of us can't get out to a Starbucks at the moment, this is a great alternative, and actually, it might even be better. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.